Welcome back. We are discussing about different application protocols with respect to IoT. So in the last class, we have seen application layer protocol not present, nothing but there is no dedicated application layer protocol at all. The next one is a SCADA. So one of the major part as a SCADA. The SCADA, which is nothing but supervisory control and data acquisition, is one of the oldest technology in the networking protocols. But as per IoT is concerned with, this is combined with the IP. So, as, for example, along with the older protocols, so there is using this SCADA, we can say it is uh, more advantageous to use with the SCADA as we have a supervisory control, something like a master, those who are looking after everything, major supervisor or administrator. So we can say the SCADA is our supervisory control and the data acquisition is nothing but it is an automated control system. We can say automated or automation control system. Initially, it was implemented without IP over serial link, and later it is adapted to IPv4 Internet Protocol version 4 or the Ethernet. So, if you look after how this SCADA is evolved, for many years there are industries which have developed different communication protocols for their own specific requirements. Their own communication protocols they have set up for their own usage. So in that, most of them were somewhere defined as per international standards and implemented in common networking technologies for serial communications. So if you just browse in internet regarding the RS-232 and RS-485, so these are the two documents you may observe and recall, so that how you can just recall or collect the different evolution or how it is developed with the SCADA, as it is one of the oldest communication setup. So that is how the SCADA is evolved. SCADA networking protocol has evolved. So it is a well structured, as we have supervisory control. It is well structured compared with the other protocols. Like for example, with respect to previous protocol, where we didn't we had no application layer protocol at all. Application layer not present, and there is a directly from serial physical to the data link layer is direct connection. But with this coming to the higher level part, SCADA system which will collect the sensor data, and we have something called telemetry over here. We'll see that part later. So to deal with that, as the SCADA supervisor control, which will allow us real time, as we have data driven decisions based on the data, it may react based on data. The SCADA will give the direction to what to do with respect to businesses or with respect to manufacturing industries as well. And SCADA network can be utilized or formed in various industries, majorly in manufacturing industry or some of the other things. We'll discuss some of the example also. And there are some of the protocols for communications between devices and applications. When we say devices, please look after the screen. The devices in the sense, whatever the device, hardware device that we connect in this physical link, physical data link, as you can touch and feel as a hardware as a definition. So from here, this particular part, the data is communicated to the topmost layer, right? So this is how the entire process is concerned with. So with respect to SCADA, there is a supervisory control from here to here. Why we that supervisory control came to picture is, whatever the data is collected from physical layer, that is transferred through network transport and other layer. So based on the data collected, so we have a master controller that will look after the data and decide in between what to do. So we'll take an example. So how this SCADA is adopted is, for example, a SCADA as an application layer protocol, which is adopted by OSI, Open System Interconnection, that is OSI 7-layer model. So we can easily adopt in that. So now we have something called DNP3 over here at the top, DNP3 application layer. So this DNP3 is nothing but which uses TCP or UDP on port number 20,000 for transporting DNP messages over IP, and it will utilize Modbus messaging capability as per this DNP3 for transport segment. Coming to DLM or DNP3 itself, it is nothing but either TCP or UDP as an application fragment to deal with the communication, logical communication. That's why there is a dashed line over here. There is a logical communication between master and outstation transport with respect to each layer, peer-to-peer connections. So now consider the situation. So here, please follow my cursor. We have two vertical structure here with respect to this particular diagram is concerned. So one particular left from the left, if we start, we have a master highlighted as a master, other one as outstation. So now, as per the definition, the SCADA definition says supervisory control. So that supervisory control is handled by this particular master, and data acquisition with respect to outstation. So once the master controls entire thing, then the data is communicated to outstation on the other side, maybe for server, maybe for the internet, or maybe for other purpose. So that is handled by the outstation, data acquisition part, data handling part, or data presentation part to the user. So now outstations monitor and collect the data from devices. That is their job. So whatever the data is communicated via this one, it is collected and monitored. So it will find out, it will take measurements including voltage, current, temperature, and so on. And then the data is transmitted to the master when it is required. When there is a need, the data is sent back to the master if there is a need. And based on that particular data, master may uh, control, or master may issue, or master may guide through control commands, control signals, or control commands. For example, if you consider a classroom setup with the atmospheric monitoring, say consider we have around 40 to 50 students in a class, and the class is monitored via using IoT. So with respect to IoT, when we say nothing but a smart object, so I have implemented a SCADA. SCADA is nothing but supervisory control with data acquisition. So I have installed temperature sensor, I have automated entire switch network in that classroom. So whenever the person enters into the class, automatically the light should on, the fan should switch on. Now, based on the temperature data, based on humidity level, if there is an increase in temperature, automatically, please observe the cursor, automatically the data is monitored and stored in this particular outstation layer. So now, with respect to outstation is concerned, temperature data is monitored over here and loaded. Each time we can set a time limit. For every 30 minutes, data is sent to the master. So master will decide based on the data whether you're supposed to change the speed of the fan, either to increase or decrease. So that is what master will do. Hope you understood as an example the purpose of master and purpose of outstation. So outstation's job is to monitor and collect the data. That's it. So how to do that? For each individual layer, there should be a parallel separate individual outstations. So this is specified in IEEE 1815 and 2012 specification. I'm saying that it describes the DNP3 protocol. So DNP3 is nothing but it is an application layer protocol which run over TCP or UDP, but TCP is recommended as it is a connection oriented, as we can guarantee there is a data delivery. Saying that we have 3 layers, DNP3 with respect to 3 layers, and there is a transmission. So now come back to the different layers over here. With respect to master side, it will initiates or introduces the connections by performing TCP. So when we say TCP transmission, this one connection oriented protocol, there should be an circuit switch or the direct connection should be established on to the other end, saying that both the receiver and sender must active and there should be a proper connection before transmission of the data. So with respect to IoT is concerned, so this master side initiates the communication saying hi. On the other hand, it should reply with hi. Then only we can say connection is established. Then automatically the data transmission and reception takes place on the other end. But with respect to multiple DNP3, that is data link layer, and the frames from a single UDP datagram, there is no guarantee of the reception on the other end. So that is one of the drawback of UDP. So now either TCP or UDP is decided in this particular transport level. So once this data link physical layer receives the data sent to network either IPv4 and then transported, the data is transmitted to the other end for storage purpose. So the data is collected. That is what data acquisition, the definition of SCADA, data acquisition. Then we have something called collection management. What this collection management will do? The collection management will perform the managing the data and the way in which it wanted to save or procure those data. For example, with respect to collection management, for example, we consider the same example, handling data with respect to our classroom, temperature data and speed of fan. So those two data should be monitored, collected and monitored on the other side. So each for every 30 minutes, we have written a program. Each 30 minutes, the data should be sent from our smart object and it is loaded in our outstation. So there should be a direct connection, serial connection from this particular device to the outstation, so that the data can be handled. So now, with respect to that is concerned, we can handle those data. So over here, connection management. After that, we have data link layer, transport function, and application layer. So there is a connection between master and outstation, so the data can be handled. So we'll see in detail about this one with another transmission kind of scenario. So to deploy this one, we need tunneling kind of setup. That is, tunneling is nothing but we are setting up or deploying based on the legacy or good old industrial protocols, either DNP or SCADA in modern IP, so that we can say some of the flexibility can be maintained with respect to operations. So this is available in IEEE 1855 to 2012 in the case of DNP, the definition. So we'll see an example, tunneling legacy SCADA or IPNet, how it can be handled. So we have 3 scenarios now. Please consider, we have 3 scenarios. Please follow the diagram and my cursor. Scenario A raw socket between routers. There is no change on SCADA. So these are all RTUs, that is routers with the serial interfaces connected to raw socket master router. Then we have a client setup on router that is connected to SCADA server. So now consider there is an application is developed and that application should monitor over SCADA. So that application's job is to handle the data from the tail end, and as a data acquisition part, I should store this data in that server. So now according to the first scenario, we have a raw socket between routers, that is this one, but there is no change in the SCADA server. So what it do is, so whatever the data is sent from this as a serial interface, there is no change in between IP infrastructure, because either with respect to IP is concerned, we are going to transport the data either in a TCP or UDP. If it is IP is concerned, SCADA is implemented over IP as it is a good old setup. So there is no need to change anything with respect to infrastructure. You can directly have a raw socket master on the router, then there is a serial connection, so the data can be handled irrespective of the data. So there should be a serial communication as we have serial interfaces. Then there is a scenario B, another scenario. Here we have again similar type of raw socket between router and SCADA, and we have a dedicated application as well on the other side. So we have that dedicated application which communicates through COM ports, communication ports mapped to IP, and TCP or UDP ports by IP serial redirector. There is a redirector as well. We have a dedicated application which will handle this. Dedicated application for supervisory control. Only that particular part we introduced over here. So in that case, then we must have an Ethernet. That is scenario B. Scenario C is there is no change between the infra, but the SCADA server itself acts as an intelligent server, so that it will be knowing how it can directly communicate over a raw socket and Ethernet interface, so that entire data and sensors can be handled. So now these are the three major scenarios where SCADA is used over IP network. First one is normal. There is a raw setup, serial connection between endpoints, tunneling units, and routers. So what is raw socket master client setup on router? Can connect a number of routers to this one. It will be treated as a master, and it is connected via serial interface. That is normal SCADA server. Second one is we have dedicated application which communicates through TCP or UDP setup with the Ethernet is introduced. Instead of serial interface, we are going to use Ethernet setup. Then that is the second one. Third scenario is we have a intelligent server as a SCADA supervisory control which knows how to handle those data, and after knowing it will directly communicate over raw socket and Ethernet interface. So these are the three tunneling SCADA setup over IP. Another one, another as an example. So here we have active DNP3 IP masters. As we know, DNP3 is nothing but a combi of three protocols over IP, right? Data link, transport, and network. So now each DNP3 setup can have a number of masters over the network. So how to have this n number of masters? We should have a wireless IP setup, so that through wireless you can connect to the gateway on the other side, and through the gateway you can connect to database itself, SCADA database, and the end terminal. So if you read from this right end, so we have different units. So these units are connected via DNP3 and data is stored in the database. So till here, till IoT gateway, it is the part of data acquisition, right? Because data acquisition is nothing but it is to collect the data from the sensor and store it in the DB database. So once you get the data, we supposed to communicate to outer world. Outer world in the sense master, the supervisor. So how to connect with the master? Through IoT gateway. Through IoT gateway, we should have again IP setup. From IoT gateway to the IP over the other side. So IoT gateway should react with the database request either to see, either to modify, either to load or copy, whatever the exercise with respect to database. Insert, delete, modify, and then through the normal IP setup. So this is another set of protocol translation. Another example, SCADA transport over LNNs with the MAPT. Over here, please observe in the diagram, we can see there are more number of hardware devices are connected, right? So now, due to the constrained nature of LLNs, there is restriction. So there is a restriction in the sense there is very minimal or there is a restriction to implement industrial protocols that is to be implemented over UDP in this case. So what is the use or what we need further? So we need both application servers and device support to implement UDP. So we need server and other requirements. In between, we may need other supports to implement UDP. But on the other hand, it will support IPv6. IPv6. So to support IPv6, we need to have mapping device. Mapping device. So map device or map T will do mapping of address and port using translation. That is what the full form say. Map T corresponds to mapping of address and port using translation. T represent translation. So why we need this map T devices are to cope up with IPv6 standards or to upgrade with the IPv6 standards as an industrial standard, industrial protocol. These two map Ts are used. This is for the one side, other side, this is for the server side. This is for the client side, this is for the server side. So what it will do, it will allow the deployment of IPv6 in the transport layer. So over here, we can see a scenario in which an endpoint is trying to communicate with the server. So the endpoint is of basically IPv4 capability. It's a typical standard, good old standard. And MAP-T we need only to highlight or upgrade with the IPv6. So from endpoint to MAP-T, the first one, from the client side, we have IPv4 setup because only that is supported on the other side. From this particular point onwards, we supposed to communicate via IPv6. There are more number of devices in between. So to do with that, we may incorporate IPv6. So when we say IPv6, it can be 6LoWPAN wireless private area network with low power consumption. That's what LOW, this one 6 LOWPAN standards or RPL. Wireless private area network with low power consumption. Supports IPv6. That's why 6 came to picture. It is being used for connectivity to the endpoint. So this particular from this particular MAP-T device till the IoT gateway, we use our own wireless private area network. So that is a standardized protocol, however, which is used in constrained network and it supports only IPv6. So that's why we supposed to introduce this one, mapping or upgrading. So only this mapped is used to upgrade or to cope up with IPv4 into IPv6, because the endpoints are dealing only with the deals only with the IPv4. See, please follow my cursor, IPv4 and IPv4 from end server, SCADA server to the MAPT gateway. We supposed to make use of IPv4. Here also endpoint to MAPT, again IPv4. So in between we should have a IPv6. So the IPv6 can be incorporated with respect to our wireless private area network. So now on the right hand side we have a SCADA server which supports IPv4 native support, which connects to the border relay or border gateway. So this border relay or gateway's job is to carry over the data from server towards this particular MAPT, or forwarding that particular data through IP WAN or Internet Protocol Wireless Area Network. So that is how this SCADA transport layer over LLNs with MAPT works. So now please remember, so this is a situation where we can make use of both IPv4 and IPv6. So from the endpoint, we are using IPv4 till this particular gateway or MAPT device. So this particular gateway or CPE will transform IPv4 data into IPv6 level. From that level, we are performing the transmissions or routing throughout the network in IPv6 standard. On the other hand, we have a border relay with MAPT. It will again convert that particular IPv6 standard into IPv4 standard and stored in SCADA server. Same thing is applicable on the other side also. That is how tunneling transport works. Now, any doubts so far? Okay, so we'll continue further. We have generic web-based protocols. So generic web-based protocol in the sense, a specific application which is developed by the industry for their consumer and enterprise applications and services. So web-based protocols. For an example, it may be having PHP application or HTML applications. Nothing but based on the standard, based on the application that is adopted in the industry. Only for that purpose, if you make use of web-based protocol, then it will be treated as generic web-based protocol. So it will have all those services, it will have all those integration criteria, prototyping criteria, everything is followed, and familiarity is very high because that is upgraded or standardized with the known format. So only little bit skill with web programming is needed for developers or programmers. Anyone who's knowing about website building or other things which can have as a front end and a web page for an IoT application is well and good with the normal web programmers. So using that front end or UI, you can deliver and handle real-time IoT data. There is launching a video game or playing a video game using a front end or creating a screenshot. All those are web-based protocols. So here one thing is supposed to remember, uh, it will make sense to trace out the protocols with the services, applications, all those. And IoT device generating an event can have the result of launching a video capture, while at the same time a notification is sent to a collaboration tool such as Cisco Spark Room. To brief about Cisco Spark Room, it's nothing but it is a tool which is used to capture uh, a video, capture a screenshot, or to launch the screenshot, or to capture a milestone or a target. This as these are the examples for this particular Cisco Spark Room. I guess any clarification, any doubts so far? One of the protocol, one more thing, one of the protocol that address this entire thing is XMPP, Extensible Messaging and Presence Protocol. So one of the web-based setup. So there is an interaction between real-time communication tool. Say for example, it may have voice and video control, instant messaging as well, and then you may develop chat rooms, bot rooms, robo chats, and then IoT device chit chats. All those may be treated as a generic web-based protocols. Any clarification, any doubt you may ask?